Hi there, welcome to Bible Slash Chat. Gus.
John?
Why are you rubbing your face? Are you tired?
No, I was just...
Does Bible Slash Chat take it out of you?
No.
Is your blood sugar low because it's almost lunchtime?
It is, yeah, it is very low, actually. Yeah.
Anyway, we have a follow-up question. We did a question a while back on can I be friends with unbelievers, right? And then there were a bunch of follow-up questions, like how do we prioritize unbelievers versus believers? So, you want to fellowship with believers? Where does your priority land? How do you navigate those things? So
who's asking these questions? Same guy? You?
We won't mention names. His name rhymes with sames. Anyway, okay, go ahead. So help us think more about this, right? Like do we prioritize unbelievers over believers? You have a limited amount of time. Should you hang out with believers or unbelievers? How would you wrestle through that?
I mean, I think it's hard because I would never say you have to hang out with believers more than unbelievers, or vice versa.
Or vice versa, yeah.
Like your time is your own, and you need to be wise with the time that you have. You do need fellowship.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that are important. You need to share the gospel, but you also need to spend time with friends who are probably people you grew up with, family members,
totally. Unbelievers
that don't know Christ. They need Christ. I think that my only concern is sometimes we've talked about this in the past, but we might look at sharing the gospel as selling a product.
Yeah.
And people know that
your views.
Yeah. And they know where you stand, and they know that when you're meeting with them and you have this ulterior motive, they know that. They're not stupid. They know that instead of selling them Amway, you're selling them Jesus. Right? That's the product you have to sell them.
Or that's what they may feel. Yeah.
They may feel that way. And sometimes we might act that way, right?
Yeah.
I'm only going to meet with them just to talk about
Jesus.
Jesus, only, exactly. We can't talk about football. We take, and that's not helpful. To any of us.
Yeah, totally.
And for them, it's not helpful because they see you as a salesman, a Jesus salesman, and for you, it's not helpful because that's not how you should view unbelievers.
Yeah,
just as soulless people that need to get need to get your product.
Yeah, you're trying to stamp a product on them. Yeah,
so that's not helpful. But I do think when an unbeliever sees that you genuinely care for them, that might not alone make them believe. Yeah, but then they'll listen more when there's an opportunity, and they might ask you. Yeah, I remember, and I'm old, so I can say this for a long time, but. When 9/11 happened, right? I was just married, and I was working at this company. I'd been working there for about a year, and people knew I was a believer. Yeah. And when 9/11 happened, now 22 years ago, people came up, and I was in my early 20s. Yeah. People came up and were asking me questions about, where was God to 9/11? Totally. What do you believe? Do you ever doubt? I never once got up in front of the whole company and said, "Well, I'm a Christian. I believe this," but they knew where I stood because we had conversations in the past, and I had a ton of conversations about that. Now, to my knowledge, not one of those people repented. Yeah, no. But it was great that they were able to come up to me and ask
interact
questions.
About that stuff. Yeah, totally.
Even now, with you think of family members, or you think with people around us, neighbors, you never know who you can talk to. Totally. So I would make time again. Not to sin, like we said last time. Not
bad
to
company corrupts good morals.
But I wouldn't say hey, this is a waste of time to spend time with unbelievers. But I do think it's important. Yeah. Now, how do you prioritize between spending time with unbelievers and believers? I would be more partial for you to spend time with believers because that's commanded in Scripture. Yeah. But I wouldn't do it to the detriment of not spending time with unbelievers. To be loving, to helpful, for an opportunity for the gospel. Yeah. But I wouldn't look to the gospel as the end goal.
Right. Yeah.
That I think is one of the problems is, as we heard all these sermons all the time growing up, you are a missionary. You're this, you're that, and that's not true. God never says that, right? God never says to do good to others so that you can share the gospel to them. Yeah. We need to do good to others. Yeah, totally. Period.
Yeah, that's it. You know what's funny? I was thinking about it. Like, I think a Christian's a true believer, their natural heart posture is going to be moving toward believers.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they want to be with the people of God. They want to be among the sheep, right? It feels better. You're closer to those people. So I think there is a natural proclivity that way. And so in some ways we're fighting against our nature to spend time with unbelievers.
Yeah.
But I think doing that and seeking to love them is part of our nature.
Yeah.
So it's like the part of us that like we feel most at rest and most at peace when we're with God's people, but we also have a pressure in our heart to love people who are not among God's people and to care for them. So I think we're moved that direction.
Yeah.
The one caveat I'd say is, just to put a text to it, is Matthew 7:6. Jesus says, "Do not give what is holy to dogs. Do not throw your pearls before swine, or they will trample them under your feet and turn and tear you to pieces." Yeah. I think what Jesus there is talking about is people who are rebelliously anti-Christ, right? So they know you're a Christian, and you're around them as unbelievers, and they spend all their time sort of mocking you, and they're like, "Oh, he's a Christian, he won't do that." Yeah. I mean, I think maybe in a workplace environment where you have to, but to continually put yourself into that place and take what is holy, what is true about the gospel, what you believe, and continually put it in front of them. What you're actually doing is it's just tempting them to sin. Yeah. Yeah. He's not saying don't. Like you should hate them or something, but he's saying don't continually tempt these people to sin by scoffing at what is true. They're scoffing at the truth of the God of the universe, and they're compounding guilt onto themselves. So be kind to them, love them. But if you have someone who's like very rejecting and just like everything you think is stupid, whatever, that kind of thing, just back away from that and say, hey, I can be your friend, but I can't, we can't hang out that much because, to be honest, this is the things that I believe. This is stuff that I love,
That's very helpful. Very, very helpful.
Anyway, well, I hope that's helpful for you. Some further clarification on this one. Obviously, these are difficult things. One thing you said, actually, I was going to finish the video, but one thing you said that's so helpful, you said your time is your own. We don't want to dogmatize this stuff, right? We don't want to say, oh, here's your rules. It should be 80% unbelievers, 20% unbelievers, count your minutes in the week. That's the worst thing.
It's like tithing your spice.
Yeah. Your Tapatio bottle right into the
What a great line. What a great line.
Yes, we know who said that. Chris Gunner said that. Anyway, if you have that situation, we would never want to dogmatize it. 1 week you might end up spending more time with unbelievers. 1 week more time with believers. We don't want to make that a legal issue in any way, shape, or form. By the same token, I think just like having your heart in the right place with the Lord, remembering that your own conscience has to be clear. Like don't allow your conscience to be tarnished because of decisions you made. So anyway, well, I hope this is helpful for you. If you have any further questions, you can always email us at info@faithbibleoc.org. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.